to listen, to imbibe, and practice these teachings. Om Namo Narayana. All right. So we are doing the second chapter now. Now we have finished the first chapter and we are looking at the second chapter. What is the name of the second chapter?
Sankhya Yoga.
Sankhya Yoga. So this is the name given to this chapter. So here Sankhya Yoga literally stands for that yoga of wisdom or yoga of knowledge, that highest supreme knowledge is given here. So right away the Lord will start with the supreme knowledge from the 11th shloka. Actually, you can say the 12th shloka, but the Lord starts speaking from the 11th shloka. So now what has happened here is that Arjuna has already been kind of given a like an inspirational, jolting kind of speech, short verses by Krishna. Because as we know, this whole path, this whole thing is a journey of Arjuna and the journey of all of us, of a spiritual aspirant, a sadhaka. The journey from confusion to wisdom, confusion from doubt to a certain reality. uh, But how do you go through this process? It is not just like giving that knowledge theoretically, it is like in Bhagavad Gita, especially, there are other two practices of yoga, which is the practice of karma yoga, doing your duty, doing your actions, and not expecting the fruits, the results of it. And then there is the bhakti yoga, that path of devotion, that one of cultivating knowledge-induced devotion, knowledge-induced faith. So all this is the journey. And where does this journey lead to? In the final shloka of this chapter, and the second chapter, the Lord uses the word Brahma Nirvanam. Huh? Nirvanam is a popular word, right? Nirvana. Nirvana is a word that is used especially in Lord Buddhist kind of circles. But this word is in Bhagavad Gita. And here it is not just Nirvana, it is Brahma Nirvana. Brahma Nirvana meaning it is freedom of cessation with that realization of that supreme reality. So it is that is the goal, that is the ultimate stage. Of course, we call it as moksha and all that, but mostly, he points to this as the reality, ultimate reality. So this chapter has a lot of the beautiful aspects of teachings. And here, some questions Arjuna asks are more very profound questions. Later on, Arjuna will ask some simple questions and he will also ask questions repeatedly in a different way. Huh? Like we always say, right? Like there are students who will be stuck with one question or few questions. Again and again, they'll be asking that. So similarly, Arjuna is also stuck sometimes. He will ask the same question in different words and all that. But some questions are very profound. Like in this chapter, one question he will ask midways. Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Huh? What is this sthitaprajna? Who is the one who is sthitaprajna? And that also is a pointer to us to know that what is the state that we are aspiring for? What is that state of realization that we want to get to? So all that, some of the things, and then also practical suggestions will come in this chapter. Practical aspects on how to deal with habits, how to work with anger, how to work with desires, and very what is the sequence through which a desire manifests, transforms into anger and into delusion and results in our destruction of our spiritual life. So all that practical tips was also given, and a lot of beautiful metaphors he gives. And this is where we all, those of us who, any of you who have been in spiritual circles, you hear this, like how should a yogi be? A yogi should be just like how a tortoise withdraws its limbs. The illustration, like how a turtle, whenever, it gets to some place where it is uncomfortable, it will withdraw the limbs. Similarly, the yogi should be able to withdraw the mind from the senses, or withdraw the sense inward, the mind turn inward. So these are beautiful illustrations will come in this chapter. Hmm. Okay, so now what happened? Arjuna was asked to shake out of his thing, out of his delusion, out of his anxiety, fear, out of his unwillingness to fight by very sharp words. You are not being like it's unmanly. Unmanly meaning like a eunuch, No, neither are you a man or a woman. Like that kind of words Lord uses to wake him up, to shake him out. Because as I was mentioning, you have trained for something all along, like an Olympic event or something, and you trained for it all along. Then when you come to the finals, you suddenly feel that you are having a nervous breakdown. Of course, from a practical psychological perspective, these are things which have to be dealt with in a certain way at that point. But here it is like that one who has already has that knowledge, one who already has that capacity. For that person, see a brave, like in Arjuna's case, he's having sympathy because he's brave and powerful, actually. It's not out of weakness that he wants to forgive. So just that the delusion has clouded his mind. So, and Arjuna and Lord is Krishna is reminding him, this is a weakness. So you should not forgive out of weakness. You should not kind of let go of weakness. That if you have to ever forgive or let go, it is should come from a place of strength, and if the person is deserving. So that is the thing, So and of course, here what happens, Krishna is not like a normal charioteer. So in normal places, like if you are employed by somebody and they will ask you, okay, now they will tell you, let's go somewhere. Like if you're a driver, if you're serving as a driver for somebody, and the boss says, okay, we will go today to some place, some pilgrimage place or some mountain, and you decide to go. Then midway through, the boss says, let's turn back. As a driver, you don't have any choice, right? You will turn back. But here, Krishna is not going to turn back. He's not like a normal employee. He has, and nor is he like a just a sevak. He's not a servant. He's not there to volunteer and serve there. Of course, that is from a story point, it seems like that. But he's there to fulfill a great role that the Lord came for, as we say, avatar, So many times people say Krishna came to kill Kamsa, but that is from a historical point. But that what the Lord came here to establish is these teachings, which for hundreds or thousands of years after that is still transforming people's lives, right? So that time had come for that. So that's why, he didn't turn back immediately and said, okay, now you don't want to fight, I will turn back. No, this is the whole life's purpose for you and for me in a way, for the Lord also, this is the great purpose he has come to accomplish. And so now, we will hear a few more verses from Arjuna, but after that, the Lord will start the teachings. Okay, Okay, now the one more point here is that as we briefly discussed in the last class, so this expression of Arjuna, this words which the Lord giving him has that given in the Mananam, it is to wake us up from that self pity, that state of self pity we are caught ourselves with. So the first thing he gives is don't pity yourself and be open, receptive, and do what I'm telling and all the wise people here are telling you to do. So, of course, like we have to deal with like how to deal with self-pity. If we are constantly having these issues, we should, of course, have practical ways of dealing with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But the purpose of Bhagavad Gita and the purpose of spiritual life is not so much to focus on overcoming one weakness at a time. Although we should practice and take seriously, take sankalpa to overcome one weakness at a time as a practice. But the more important thing here is that knowledge is there to transform us holistically. So, as we gain that knowledge, as we abide in that knowledge, and we also practice, do our sadhana in our daily life, we start holistically becoming a better person. And naturally, many of these kleshas will lose their grasp on us. So this is what is said, when a person reaches final realization. What happens? Why is it that he's reaching realization? He still has a lot of karma. Because of that karma, he was born, and there is probably a lot of karma that is still going to cling to him after that body dies. That sukshma sharira, that subtle body, the karma will cling on to. But what is different from a realized person is at that point of death and before also he is established in that truth. So when he dies, he realizes that that karma doesn't belong to me as that atma, that I'm ever pure. So then what happens? All that karma and kleshas, which is supposed to give you another life, that will no longer grasp onto you. It is like it is, for example, something you have, like you have like a steel pipe, and you try to throw water on that. What happens? That water will all fall away. It will not stick to that pipe. But if it is a dry wall, and you throw water onto that wall, then that wall will soak in that water. So a person of realization is like that steel pipe. So no waters of karma can wet it. So because that realization is there. So similarly, here the approach that Lord will give, he will directly go to teaching knowledge in this thing, because that is the first step. The first step is to gain knowledge, and then of course you have to abide in that and practice it. But the first step for freedom is knowledge, is wisdom. So that is why now, right after that sorrow of Arjuna, we are going to get the direct knowledge of the path, and that will holistically transform all our negativities, all our kleshas. So self-pity also, if we find ourselves self-pitying more and more, of course we should catch it and we should work with that. But more important thing is we should know the reality, that I am not this little person whom I'm pitying, not this limited entity. I am this Nitya Shuddha Mukta Buddha, as we say, ever free, that ever pure Atman. Okay, so now let us look at the mantras. Okay, so this one here. Ah, so we did this. So now Arjuna again starts. And so here, this also I've just briefly mentioned. So most of Bhagavad Gita is in what is called as Anustup Chandas. Anustup Chandas is a meter. That the chant we do is in a specific meter. And that meter has 16 characters in each line, generally, except for one shloka where it has little 17 characters. But generally, most places you will see 16 characters. But then so that is why we can break it up, into two, this one. But some places, some shlokas are in Trishtup Chandas. And generally, Vyasa, who is the writer of Bhagavad Gita, uses this for emphasis. So the next few shlokas, starting from the fifth shloka to a few of them, he's going to do in this meters, different meter, which has about 22 characters or letters or total characters in each line, or here it looks like in two lines, but it's one line. Okay, so we will change the tone or the meter when we chant that. Arjuna Uvacha. Repeat after me. Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye.
Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye.
It is also last time also we made this mistake, some of you. So it's Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye.
Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhye.
It is not Sankhye, Sankhye. Dronancha Madhusudana.
Dronancha Madhusudana.
Ishubhih Pratiyotsyami.
Ishubhih Pratiyotsyami.
Ujarhavarisuddhana.
Ujarhavarisuddhana.
So this is in a different meter. You can listen to me. Guru nahatvahi mahanubhavan.
Guru nahatvahi mahanubhavan.
Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapiha loke.
Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapiha loke.
Hatvartha kamanstu guru nihaiva.
Hatvartha kamanstu guru nihaiva.
Punjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan.
Punjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan.
Nachaitad vidmakataranno gariyo.
No nachaitad vidmakataranno gariyo.
Yadvajayema yadiva no jayeyuhu.
Yadvajayema yadiva no jayeyuhu.
Yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha.
Yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha.
Tevastitah pramukhe dhartarashtraha.
Devastita mukhe dhartarashtraha.
Karpanya doshopahatah svabhava.
Karpanya doshopahatah svabhava.
Pruchami tvam dharma samudhachetaha.
Pruchami tvam dharma samudhachetaha.
Yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme.
Yashreyasya nishchitam tanme.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanutyat. Sorry. Yachreyasyan shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat.
Yachokamucho shanamindriyanam.
Yachokamucho shanamindriyanam.
Avapya bhuma vasapatnamriddham.
Avapya bhuma vasapatnamriddham.
Rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam.
Rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam.
Sanjaya uvacha.
Sanjaya uvacha.
Eva muktva hrishikeshan.
एवमुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशम्
गुडाकेशः परन्तपा
गुडाकेशः
परन्तप
परन्तप
न योत्स्यायिति गोविन्दम्
न
न
योत्स्य इति
गोविन्दम्
गोविन्दम्
उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः
उक्त्वा
मुक्त्वा
तूष्णीं
तूष्णीम्
बभूवः
बभूवः
तमुवाच हृषीकेश
तमुवाच
तमुवाच
ऋषिकेशम्
ऋषिकेश
प्रहसन्नीव भारत
प्रहसन्नीव
प्रहसन्निव
भारत
भारत
सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये
सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये
विषीदन्तमिदं वचः
विषीदन्तमिदौ वचः
विषीदन्तमिदं वचः
Okay, we will look at it. So now, after that kind of a wake-up call that the Lord has given, now Arjuna responds. What is his first response? He responds in a much more same tone with which he was going on, but it's almost like he makes a final appeal, a final kind of personal appeal to kind of further his case or whatever he felt is the right word. So what does he say? He says Madhusudana, Arisudana, which both of them say that of the name of Krishna, which represents the one where he destroys the evil people. So for them, he's saying, so what is he saying? Aham Sankhye, in this battle, Puja Har, those who are worthy of being worshipped. Who are these people? At least, if not anybody else, there are two people here who are worthy of worship, meaning they are the ones who I revere. They are the ones who have been my like guiding force in my life. Who are these? Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma is his great grandfather, like grand uncle, grandfather sometimes, Pitamaha they say. But then there's Drona, one who taught him all the skills which he's using now. Most of the skills he got from him. So how can I fight against these two people? If not, okay, maybe what you're saying is right, but at least these two people, they cannot be killed. huh? So that is the one of the final personal appeal he makes. But then he goes on to justify to that. What is it? Guru nahatva hi mahanubhava. The one who kills the guru, even the Shastras tell that, one of the greatest sins is betrayal or killing of the guru. So, of course, the guru is the one who is the knowledge, who gives you knowledge, diksha, and all that. But a lot of these gurus are also, in a way, considered as gurus, right? So, he's equating that and saying that how can I kill that person who's such a great soul, Mahanubhava? All these people and even if you don't, let us just go by the basic shastra. I cannot kill them, of these great people, even in this world and nor in that other world. I will enjoy, and moreover, what, like my hands will ever be stained with blood, he says, rudira pradigna, huh? Meaning that you can never be free of that. That is that kind of all other sins, like according to Vedas, there is prayaschitta, meaning you can atone it through, you can give gifts, you can do some japa, you can do all that, and you can atone it. But some of these you cannot atone according to Shastras, Dharma Shastras especially. Okay, and then he says one word here. What is that? He says, Bhaiksha api bhoktum shreya. Instead of all this, let me just go, even if I do, meaning if he goes, what, he'll not get the land, he will not get wealth or whatever to sustain and live, right? Let me at least go and beg for food and live like that. So that is generally in our Shastras, only two of the ashrama people have the right to ask for food or for gifts, donations, and others from others can accept. Who are these? These are the brahmacharis and the sannyasis. Uh, Brahmacharis can take food from others and food, shelter, and other things from others because they are students. Brahmacharis, they're referring to students. So because they don't have any money they're earning, they're still in the student life. So they are allowed to take money, meaning receive donation or things from others. And then the main other person is sannyasi. One, and of course, Arjuna will not fit into brahmachari because he's already older. So he's basically what he's saying that maybe I should become a sannyasi, like a sannyasi, and live. Hmm. So generally, sannyasis, the most first basic form of sannyasa is that person who is living on alms. Especially, we are all like when we are in our certain stage, we are asked to like live like that for practice. But at some point or the other, sannyasi is dependent, dependent on the society in some way. And especially if the society is a mature society, they will support. So that way he's saying that at least that way I will live, meaning I will not do my dharma as a kshatriya, what I am so as a warrior, but I will take up sannyasa. So this is sometimes we say, right, like sannyasa also, it has to be taken out of clear understanding and wisdom. Not everybody wants to take sannyasa. There's a fair, I think I've told this story, many of you have heard. And there is that famous story of a person who came to a guru and he told that person, I want to take sannyasa because you also say sannyasa is good. So I want to take sannyasa. So that guru asked him, where have you been? What did you come? Where have you come from? So he says, oh, I had a job. They kicked me out of the job. I don't have any job right now. And I was also married. I had a wife, but my wife also kind of threw me out and I don't have anything. So the guru says, like, you're not living anything. Everything else has left you. So how can you take sannyasa? You have, in order to take sannyasa, you have to renounce something, right? Only if you give up. So of course, a person who is naturally coming to sannyasa will naturally not feel that attraction and all that. So ideally, a person who is wise, who is capable, that person is the one who is capable of renouncing. So that kind of sannyasa is valid, but not the one Arjuna is talking about. Okay, and then he says, he continues on and he says, na kataro girgariya etad na vidmaha. So I can barely say which will be better. Like, should I conquer them or should they conquer me? Because if I conquer them, that means I will kill them. If they conquer me, it is almost like suggesting that it might even be better, This very son of Dhritarashtra, who are our relatives, after slaying them, I don't feel like living. That is the point. If I kill them, I cannot. I don't. There is no justification for me to live. So he's trying to present the last few arguments that he has, and then he comes up with this change of position. This next very apt. This is a journey, that shift in his as he slowly gives argument. He's slowly becoming aware what is happening to him and his mind state. So this is one of the qualities of a sadhaka. A sadhaka will also justify like everybody else, but slowly what happens, that awareness of our own weak nature, our own negative qualities, our own mental patterns, they start to come upon us and we become vigilant. We say, oh, I have done this a lot of times. I have justified like this. I have kind of followed my ego, my kind of sense of emotions, feelings. And this time I'm also going in the same trap. So what does he say? Karpanya dosha pahata swabhavaha. Huh? So dharma sammuda chetaha. So my mind is conflicted with what is right. Even though I'm giving you these arguments, I do have a conflict. It is not like I am certain that this is the right path. If I was certain, then I wouldn't talk to you in a way that is idea conveyed. If Arjuna was certain that he should not fight, he would have walked away, right? He's still on the battlefield. He's still in the middle. So many of us face these situations in our life. We are caught in doubt. We don't know because we have an underlying sense. Maybe this is my weakness. Maybe this is my inadequacy. Something I'm missing out. So then he comes to this point. Karpanya dosha. My mind is my nature is overpowered like that of a Karpanya, Kripana. Kripana is the word. Kripana means a miser, A person who is very miser, will not give anything to anybody, right? He will always hold on to it. Has in the process of him holding on, he is going to suffer. But also, yet at the same time, he cannot let go. So similarly, Arjuna is depicting his mind is like in this position. He cannot let go of his position, but yet he is not able to completely become receptive and just do what Krishna told him. You are in Aryan. You should fight. So that he's not ready right away. So he is asking now for something, and this is a oft quoted aspect. When does a disciple become a disciple? When do you establish a real guru disciple relationship? Or when is it that you open up to that inner guru, that teachings, that receptivity to the higher teachings to come to you? So the first thing is when your mind is open and receptive within, then whether it is one guru or 10 gurus, you will be able to listen to them. But if the mind is not open, you can have hundreds of gurus, but yet you will not be able to transform and change. Huh? So that is the point. He says, Yet Shreyasyan Nischitam Bruhitan me. Tell me which is the higher path. The word Shreya, those of you who did Katopanishad, there is Shreyas, and what is the other thing?
Prayers.
Prayers, very good. There is two paths. All of us face two paths. There is a path of Shreyas, there is a path of prayers. Prayers is an immediate pleasing path. That what is pleasing to me sensually at first level. But here it is not just that. He's not even asking about what is dharma. There is a relative Shreyas and there is a ultimate Shreyas. He's asking for the ultimate Shreyas, which is even beyond dharma. So that is the ultimate Shreyas, he's saying, because that highest good, that which is highest good for me, that which is highest good for me. I am confused about what is highest good, mommy. So I ask you, Shishyasteham Shadi Mam Tvam Prapannam. I am your disciple. I am your student. So until now, what? They were friends or they were relatives. They were cousins. So all of his life he lived with Krishna and never looked up to him as a guru. So at this turning point in his life, he realizes that Krishna has that potential to become my guru. Krishna has something that he can help me with. So here he's saying that this beautiful words, that I am your disciple, accept me as your disciple, take me as your disciple. So generally they say, a teacher will only teach when you accept that person as your teacher. Until then, that teacher will remain quiet, or he might give you just some worldly advice or basic advice. So many times people are like that, right? Like they will come to the teacher and the teacher they'll say, tell me about this, tell me about that. And then, the teacher knows they're not ready to get that thing. So he will say, okay, what do you want to do? Okay, fine, do that, or do on these lines, do it. So on those lines of your receptivity alone, the teacher can instruct. But once that student says, I'm ready to listen, I'm unconditionally open to listen, then only that teacher can teach. So that this is that beautiful transition of Arjuna in this hour of confusion, in his hour of dilemma, recognizes the Guru. So this is that what we discussed, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. This transformation, this becomes a yoga when you use your confusion to turn to that higher wisdom, to ask upon that higher wisdom. Whether you take the guru as within you or the guru in an individual or in a tradition, that guru will talk to you then, because that is the guru tattva, the guru principle. Once we recognize that guru principle, then it starts working for us, and we realize it was there with us all the time, like how Arjuna had Krishna with him all the time, meaning all through their life he knew Krishna, but he could not recognize him. So similarly here, that kind of, so in this is more like the Vedantic version, in a Vedantic version, that guru is there to all the time in you, in your life. No, it's not necessary that one day you kind of have to go look upon him. Of course, from a physical level, that guru might personally manifest in a certain form and all that. On a certain day, certain form and all that. And that also is a valid perspective. But that Guru Tattva, that principle, that inner guidance is ever available and accessible. It just requires our receptivity, our state of mind. And one more thing, as some of the commentators mention at this point. See, until now, many of the Vedanta commentators don't talk much, but they say in this transition, when he takes complete sharanagati, sharanagati is complete surrender. When Arjuna takes that complete refuge, Saranagati, what happens is he's also saying that he has gone through this process of Vairagya and Viveka. See, we say that there is, sadhana, Shat Sampad, there is sadhana Chatushtaya. Of that, one is that kind of yogic skills, yogic set of qualities, Shat Sampatti, Shamadama, Uparama, and all that, Titiksha. And then there are three more which are important to progress in life. The other one is, anybody remembers all the other three?
Mumukshutva.
Mumukshutva. Then
Samadhi.
Vairagya.
Vairagya. Then
Viveka.
Viveka. So I already told you. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutva. So now he's saying that I want the higher truth, the higher realization. That is Mumukshutva. He's saying I'm willing to leave the kingdom, to leave everything. That is a Vairagya, renunciation. And that to some basic degree of Viveka is there in him. That Viveka, that there is a higher truth, there is a higher reality. What is the Dharma, he's saying, beyond that Dharma that I know from my level of Dharma, there is a higher reality that I want to know. So that part, so knowledge, self-knowledge, or God knows knowledge, whatever we want to call it, that will come when we are able to exercise this degree, especially of Vairagya and Mumukshatva. Like you want to come to this class, right? You have to let go of something else. So that degree of renunciation, if you don't have, you will not come. And the desire has to be there, that mumukshatva, the desire to realize, to know the higher reality. So that part he's mentioning. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachoka macho shanaman mindriyanam. So now he's pointing out to that other one more aspect. I'm not able to see how to remove my confusion, how to remove this shokam, uchoshanam, this uchoshanam, this kind of unparalleled sorrow, this great sorrow I'm experiencing, and then it is also kind of affecting my senses. It is kind of this inability to see things. It is affecting my senses, meaning the mind. When the mind is affected, the senses are affected, right? And even if I were to attain that great heights of Rajyam, that great dominion, great control, I don't want all of that. Unrivaled lordship, if I attain in this earth, that is also not worth it. See, this is actually the reality of everyone who goes through some sorrow, depression. Huh? Even when you are in your greatest sorrow thing, if somebody comes and gives you your favorite food or favorite movie, you're not interested in seeing it. That kind of a deep depression. When you're really depressed, your favorite place, your favorite movies, your favorite things, none of them will have an effect on you. That thing there, that is what we say. At that point is a great potential for awakening. If you find that right guidance, the right pointers. So that is what he is saying, that I'm not able to see, I'm not able to perceive this. So you help me, to say this. So now, based on this, Sanjaya actually gives the next two shlokas. Basically, these are in these shlokas. He just mentioned, having spoken thus to the Lord of Senses, the Rishikesha, he calls him, Rishikesha, that name of Krishna. Arjuna says that, and he becomes quiet. He is not able to fight. He will not fight, and he's overset with sorrow. He's saying, "You are the teacher. You save me. You give me. You tell me. You clear." He's not telling. He's not telling upon the guru that you take away all my problems. See, this is what is also a proper understanding. When we go to guru or when we pray to God, it is a low kind of prayer to say that take away my problems, give me more money, give me a better house, give me a better place. See, these are lesser prayers. The real prayers is give me that clarity, give me that proper understanding, give me that correct way attitude to practice and deal with these problems. So that is a greater kind of a blessing we can get from a teacher. So that is what he is asking for. Okay, so we will look at further in the next class. So of course, there are some Mananam questions on this. We'll also take up those questions in the next class and start. From the next class, of course, the teachings begin. The main Bhagavad Gita, people say, begins from here. The 12th, 11th shloka or the 12th shloka, some people say. So this is when Krishna starts teaching, because now Arjuna said, "You are my teacher." So then he can give the teachings. Okay, anybody has any questions? Comments?
Swami,
Yes, Flavia, tell me.
for example, Sankhya speaks about suffering, huh? And
Yeah,
yoga also.
yes.
And I was thinking, for example, someone that thinks that life is beautiful can renounce, or you must really think, oh my God, I see that life has so many problems, and then you are able to renounce. You understand my doubt?
So you're saying that somebody who thinks that life is beautiful or life is okay, they will not be able to renounce. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, you're saying unless a person looks at suffering in life, uh, they will not be able to renounce. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah, it's a question because also when we suffer and we see how difficult life can be, it's also
Yeah.
difficult to renounce.
Correct. See, that thing when we say life is beautiful, it is more like a attitude we want to have to keep a pleasant state of mind, right? Isn't it? Like it is good, nothing wrong in having that thought that life is beautiful, But that is more because you are looking at life from the perspective of a positive state of mind. But actual nature of life, when we really look at it, it is beset with sorrow and suffering. If you really look at it, this is what the later Bhagavan will say in Gita also and the Sankhya. They say a wise person has this attitude, what Bhagavad Gita, they say dukkha doshanu darshanam. Samsara dukkha doshanu darshanam. So this life they see is like they're able to see it that there is a defect of suffering inherent in life. So this is the outer aspect of life. See, now we might say, oh, this is a very pessimistic teaching and all that. But this is not like optimism or pessimism. This is more like as it is. If you really look at life, meaning life as such, we look at it, there is nothing wrong. But the world and the situations we look at it, it is everything you cannot cling on to, right? Like anything you take, we take our own body. For a while, our body will be healthy and all that, but then at some point, the body will face some suffering, you know. And anything also, like you take something which is very beautiful, you know, like the other day, I was walking by Ganga, and 6 months ago, somebody had painted this beautiful portrait of Lord Shiva there. And I looked at it by Ganga and I said, wow, it is so beautiful. And last 2 months, there's been so much rain, you know, that picture has become very murky and all. So in that sense, what has happened, that was a beautiful thing, but it doesn't last beautiful forever. So in that sense, a wise person's view of life is that life is inherently suffering if you cling on to it. But if you take life for what it is, you know, it can be beautiful. If you accept it, that things will change, things will never remain the same. I'm also here. So not that we take that and then we just move on and enjoy life. Not like that. We move on to the reality that in here I cannot find that everlasting happiness. So the renunciation, actually, you were mentioning, you mentioned the word renunciation, right? So here the renunciation is not out of just this thing that I'm not getting what I want and I will renounce. Life has such, in that level of the material life, it will not make me happy. So I will renounce that obsession with that material life. And I will try to find that beauty and happiness at a different level, in a higher level. At that stage, then you can experience beauty wherever you go. Is that close to what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a good, it's you, we have to, we earlier, it's why, see, why is that even Sankhya, Buddhism, they all start with this thing that there is a threefold suffering in life. So that means, like, I mean, if you look at some popular booksellers, it will never sell. Your book will never sell. If your first line you are saying that, life is suffering, your book will never sell, right? But why is it that they are saying that is unless you accept that reality, unless you accept that this material world will not give you happiness, you will not be ready to take the next teaching. So when we come to spiritual life, we have some degree, we have looked around at life and reasoned. I just by doing this, I will not be happy. Or even by, if I study the greatest science of the world, it will not make me happy. That kind of understanding has come to us. And then is when we really come to spiritual life. And then what happens when we come on this, we still have, like as one of the masters tells, when we come to spiritual life, we will still have our tail outside the door, meaning we will still not completely come in. So in order to make sure we get our tail into the door, it is hammered again to us. That life you left outside is not worth it. I mean, meaning you can come in, accept the life. You have to take wholeheartedly that truth. So the teachings again will talk about that. Again, we'll say that aspect of life is subject to change. It's subject to suffering. It is subject to not giving you happiness.
Yes, and also when we see that, we can see that, when we live, I'm 15, so for 50, for example, then you can
yeah.
see that's the reality. But
Correct,
it's
correct.
also hard to to have detachment and so on because of the clashes, huh?
Yeah, that is the process, you know. So the initial level is the wisdom will come, right? And so it will come in small bouts. So we will sometimes we will feel it, but then again we will have our habits, our patterns, they will play out and all that. So this is why, you know, like we have practiced seeking joy through the senses for lot of life or lifetimes, as they say. So it doesn't get undone that fast. But yet at the same time, what the path of knowledge tells us is not every habit you have done 10 times has to be undone 10 times for you to become free. When that knowledge becomes so clear, when that realization starts kind of percolating into your cells, body cells, you know, then automatically you will drop that. So this is that process. So here, that is why, you know, especially Bhagavad Gita, they say it is Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. So you need knowledge and you also need to put it in practice. So it is not just intellectually having it, that has to manifest into all our lesser thoughts, day-to-day thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other quick question?
Swamiji.
Yeah, me.
So
Sorry.
it's not a question, but rather it's more like a view, maybe. I don't know if I'm right or not. So when we say life is beautiful, can we say it's more like a compromised idea? It's more like life just seems beautiful. It's not. It just seems because of maybe avidya or this wrong understanding. So
Yeah. So this what I was telling when I said life is beautiful is that it is dependent on what you're taking life as. If you're talking about the outer life, you know, then the outer world, then that beauty is a transitional beauty. It's a small sense-based beauty. It is not the real beauty. So a wisdom person sees life is beautiful more from that perspective that the joy is not outward he's looking at. That life is beautiful. It enables me to seek knowledge. It enables me to abide in this knowledge. It enables me to get that freedom, ultimate freedom. From that perspective, we can say, like as Shankaracharya says, you know, getting human life is one of the most precious things, he says, you know, if you use it in that sense. If you use it to indulge in that senses, then what you're saying is correct. It seems beautiful, but it will kind of pull the rug under you. So this is a general impression when we say, you know, life is beautiful, is we are looking just at the outer world, and that outer world will always it is like someone who will never stand up to its promise, you know. It will make beautiful promises to you, but end of the day, no matter what kind of agreement, how much stamp paper you put on it, it will violate that. So, but yeah, that is it seems beautiful is a better word when you look at it from an outer world. Okay, so let us say with the closing prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, Namaste. So the group, just to mention, we will have